There's something strange about the way Jesus taught. People came to him looking for answers, and yet, again and again, Jesus answered questions with more questions. Who do you say I am? Why are you afraid? Now, what are you looking for? Do you want to be healed? At first, it almost feels confusing, because if Jesus came to reveal truth, why not just explain everything directly? Why make people think? But here's where things get interesting. Jesus wasn't only trying to give people information, he was trying to change the way they saw, and that changes everything. In the time of Jesus, Jewish teachers often taught through discussion. Students learned by asking questions. Rabbis challenged people to think deeply, but Jesus used questions differently. Other teachers asked questions to test intelligence. Jesus asked questions to reveal the heart. That's the pattern most people miss. One day, Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" The disciples gave different answers. Some say Elijah, some say a prophet. Then Jesus asked, "But who do you say that I am?" Suddenly, the conversation became personal. The disciples could no longer hide behind other people's opinions. Now they had to confront what they actually believed. And notice this, Jesus already knew the answer. He wasn't asking for information, he was creating realization. And once you see that, you start noticing it everywhere. A blind man cries out for help. Jesus asks him, "What do you want me to do for you?" The question sounds strange at first. The man is blind. The need seems obvious. But Jesus still asks. Why? Because questions invite people to respond honestly. They force people to recognize their condition. And this pattern exists throughout the Bible. In Genesis, God asks Adam, "Where are you?" Not because God lost Adam, but because Adam needed to confront what had happened. Later, God asked Cain, "Where is your brother?" Again, God already knew. The question wasn't for information, it was for revelation. That's the deeper pattern. Questions expose the heart. And honestly, we still experience this today. Advice can go in one ear and out the other, but one honest question can change everything. Why am I afraid? What am I really chasing? What do I actually believe? Questions force reflection. And Jesus understood that perfectly, but Jesus also used questions to challenge false thinking. The religious leaders believed they understood everything, so instead of arguing endlessly, Jesus often asked questions that exposed deeper issues. One day they criticized him for healing on the Sabbath. So Jesus asked, "Is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath or to do evil?" Suddenly, the argument changed. Now, it wasn't just about rules, it became about mercy, compassion, human need. One question revealed the heart behind the law, and that's what made Jesus different. He didn't only teach information, he transformed perspective. That's why his words lasted for thousands of years, because people remember what they wrestle with, and Jesus made people wrestle with truth. Even his parables work this way. Simple stories, deep meaning, a farmer scattering seeds, a lost sheep, a wedding feast. The listener had to think, and that was intentional. Because Jesus wasn't creating spectators. He was creating seekers, people willing to search deeper. And maybe that's why his questions still matter today, because they still confront us. Why are you afraid? What are you seeking? Who do you say that I am? Those questions still echo through history, not because Jesus lacked answers, but because questions can awaken people in ways answers sometimes cannot. And maybe that's the point. Sometimes the question is the answer.